Well, we got ourselves another game seven. The Pacers end up beating the New York Knicks 116 to 103. So let's talk about it real quick. I think in this game, we see why the Indiana Pacers went out and got Pascal Siakam. He came through in the biggest way, scoring a team high 25 points, 11 for 21 shooting. And I like that he was getting to his spots. You know, there was a lot of times where they feed him in the high post, and that is a shot. That free throw line extended. It seemed like he couldn't miss from out there. A lot of people who's watched him throughout his career kind of, they gave him nicknames like Beyblade because, he just do a lot of spin moves. But today, he kept it simple. He was getting to the basket, getting to the rim, getting to the three-point line, and it just seemed like he was getting any shot he wanted. Tyrese Haliburton, he has a 15-point game. Nothing too crazy, but picked it up as the game was going along. But I want to talk about Miles Turner because this dude has been on the trade block, it seems like, ever since he's been drafted as a Pacer. I think that these playoffs have shown that he can be a starting center on a championship team. He comes through with 17 points, but it felt like he had 30. His 17 was very loud. He gets to the basket. He can shoot a three. Andrew Nembhard, I like his game just because even though there's some games where he's not really hitting shots, he's picking up 94 feet. He's who Patrick Beverley thinks he is. Obi Toppin has really been huge for them coming off the bench. What's going to win in the series is that bench production. They've been winning the bench points. Obviously, the New York Knicks are banged up, and we'll get to that in a second, but I just think that Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell have been the real MVPs for the Indiana Pacers. And speaking of TJ McConnell, I think that he's a starting point guard in this league. When he's out there, you feel his presence. He's making the right play. He can get to that mid-range. He drives to the basket efficiently. He's the heart and soul of their team. I think that he's going to get paid this summer. And I think a team like the Phoenix Suns are really going to sought after him just because he's not going to take away shots from Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, or Devin Booker. I think that you slide him into that starting point guard spot. I think that he'll thrive in that position. Moving on to the Knicks, though, Jalen Brunson, he's been struggling, especially in Indiana. I think that he's been doing better at home. What home team doesn't do better at home? He started very slow. I don't even think he touched double digits at halftime, but he actually ended with 31 points. 11 for 26. I mean, he was struggling early, and then by the time he was getting his shots off, it was too late. And then we see Josh Hart go down with the ab injury, and I think that's just kind of what we've seen throughout the season of the New York Knicks. Coach Tibbs has a very tight lineup, and it's finally catching up to these players. I mean, it goes all the way back when Julius Randle got hurt. Bogdanovich, again, he's out. Mitchell Robinson's out. Dante DiVincenzo, it seems like he's on the ground every time he drives to the basket. Jalen Brunson has had his fair share of injuries, and now we're seeing the injury bug hit Josh Hart, and I think that may be their downfall going into this Game 7. Deuce McBride has been huge for them, though. I thought that the way that he came out, I think he had 15 points in that first half or so. It seemed like he couldn't miss. Precious Achiuwa's continuing to give you good minutes off the bench. Alec Burks is surprisingly giving you some production off the bench, so I think that they're going to have to come through in this Game 7. Tyrese Haliburton has been up and down throughout these playoffs. I think his highs are very high, his lows are very low. Today was a very mid game, though. I'm looking for him to have a huge game if they want to take the series and move on to face the Boston Celtics here in this Game 7. If I'm the Pacers and I'm Coach Carlisle, I'm just telling my guys to go out there and scrap. I think that's the identity of this team. I think that the effort on the rebounding is going to be the difference in that game. Are they going to be able to contain Jalen Brunson? They have the size advantage, I would say, especially because the Knicks are banged up now. And if Josh Hart doesn't play in this Game 7, he's their best rebounder. So that's about 10 to maybe 15 rebounds a game that you're taking away from the New York Knicks. So they have to take advantage of that. Is Tyrese Haliburton going to solidify himself as a top guard in the NBA? I think that he was regarded as one going into the season, and the way he started out, he got hurt, and then he was kind of on the downhill towards the end of the regular season. Now he's in these playoffs. He's been up and down. Is he going to solidify himself as one of those guys? Or is Jalen Brunson going to solidify himself as a New York Knicks legend already? I think that if they just get to the Eastern Conference Finals with this banged up team, I think he's already solidified. I think the only thing that the Knicks can do is hope that every shot that they shoot goes in. There's 2 Game 7s this weekend, and it's going to be an exciting week for the NBA. So I'm Roman. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Layup Lounge for more content like this, in-depth analysis of what needs to happen, as well as our podcast. Go check those out. and we out.